Hello all, back again, and as promised, I'm going to do a really quick follow-up to my previous video. In my previous video, I made my predictions for what the rankings of the top 15 films of the summer will be. That is movies released from May 1st through the end of August. And whatever business they do for the life of their films, as long as they were released within that window, what will be the most successful films? I had to do this blindfolded in a way because I haven't been able to get to this until May 27th as I'm recording this. But obviously, we've got almost a whole month of movies out. So I'm going to take a quick look right now and live take a look at how these guesses are already shaping up. If I'm already obviously off on some or not. Not many movies have come out in the grand scheme of the summer season, but some are out. So we should have some feedback, some ideas on some films. Also, I wanted to take a look at Dan Murrell. He is, I think, the guru when it comes to YouTubers talking about the box office. I love to watch his channel, and I strongly suggest anybody that's interested in the business of filmmaking to check out that as well. So we're going to take a look at his rankings and we'll compare them with mine. But first, we will head on over to the-numbers.com to see what has been going on so far in box office news. And of course, if you are interested in this kind of stuff, thenumbers.com is the great source, the best source for this kind of information. Box Office Mojo, like so many other things, got acquired by Amazon, and then it sucks now. So the place for actual good information and a little bit of analysis as well is thenumbers.com. Lilo and Stitch opens at 146 million. So if you don't remember, if you didn't see it, well, you should check out the video I did recently. But I ended up having Lilo and Stitch as my #1 film of the summer. Did not plan on that. I didn't think that was going to happen. But I had Lilo and Stitch ending at #1 when all is said and done, when all the dust settles. Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, opens at $64 million over the Memorial Day weekend. That has to be a disappointment, right? I had Mission Impossible finishing 6th overall. I don't know. It's interesting to me. I thought that would have a bigger opening. 64 million. Weekend projections, Lilo opens with sensational 148 million over blockbuster Memorial Day weekend. It does say Mission Impossible is doing great business in 2nd place, setting a franchise record in the process. So, I mean, listen, obviously it's still good income, but it's not doing what I thought it would do. I thought it was going to open even bigger than that. Final Destination lands with excellent $51 million debut. That is incredible. Wow. Because I had it not in the top 10. Yeah, I had Final Destination coming in with a total of about 60 million. Wow. And that was even kind of a high guess based on the performance of the previous ones. I am so impressed and happy, as I talked about a lot in the previous video I did, that I really root for horror movies. They can be very, very profitable, but they generally aren't huge mainstream hits. I only had one horror movie in the top 10 in my guess for this year, which was Megan version 2.0. But wow, that is super impressive. And I'm happy about that. Thunderbolts, I believe, opened kind of soft. Okay, it's past 100 million. Yes, I had Thunderbolts landing at the number 17 ranked film in the summer. Man, my initial guess was 125 million, and then I talked myself down to just land it at 100. So I don't know. Will it land? Will Thunderbolts be in the top 10, top 15? Time will tell on that one. But now I do want to take a look and see what Dan Murrell suggests for his top 10. I'm not going to show his whole video, of course. I'm not going to play any of it, to be honest with you, but I do want to give a shout out to him. I'm going to compare what I guessed versus what he guessed, see what we matched on, if anything. Here are Dan's predictions, and he also has Lilo and Stitch at #1, as I did. So that makes me very happy about that. He's got How to Train Your Dragon 2nd. I had it 5th. Superman, we both have that 3rd. Wow, he's got Jurassic Park down. Dan has the Fantastic Four in 4th, as do I. Cool. He's got Mission Impossible 5th. I have it 6th. We're in the ballpark. I'm digging this, except for Jurassic World. So yeah, he's got Jurassic World 6th. I have it 2nd. He has F1 in 7th place. I don't have it in the top 15. So that's a big difference. I've got it around 20th. He has Thunderbolts 8th. I've got it, like I said, about 17th. So I have it out of the top 15. He's got Elio 9th. What do I have it? I've got it 14th. So I've got it further down. Bad Guys, he's got in 10th place. I have Bad Guys in 8th place. So we're pretty close there. The one I have, which I knew at the time was a big risk, was Ballerina. I had 7th, and I've got Karate Kid 9th. And going into it, I didn't think I was going to have Karate Kid on my top 10 list, but then that's where it ended up. So we will see in time. I'm actually pretty impressed that we match as much as we do, because he is way more plugged into this world than I am. I'm excited to do this because I've never actually done this formally like this. I've made some guesses, but I've not really done this deep dive as I did this time around. And I'm also excited to see, as I've done, not just the top 10, but a top 20. I don't know how many I did, 25 maybe. So, if something falls out of 10th, you just feel like, oh, well, I don't know where that is. It just disappears. Well, now we'll be able to keep track. Was that one that I guessed was going to be 10th, that it just fall to 11th, and then I'm still pretty close. Yeah, it'll be fun. I'd love to know what you are all thinking about the summer movie season. Feel free to put your top 10 list in the comments below. Are there any films that you're really rooting for to make it into the list? Maybe as a dark horse, something that is flying under the radar, but you think can end up really big. I'm just glad that I didn't have any huge blind spots so far. I should have looked to see if Angel Studios is putting anything out, because they can sometimes come out of nowhere with a big hit. A24, they can put out movies that seem a little bit under the radar, but they resonate with an audience, and then they suddenly, again, are a big surprise hit. And I hope that there are films like that, some quieter in this moment, but very original, more artistic, if you will, less traditional popcorn films that end up becoming big hits in the summer. Okay, I decided to delay the video a little bit longer, just because that would allow us to have one more weekend worth of numbers to look at, which we will take a quick look at right now. As you see, it was the opening weekend of Karate Kid last weekend, and it opened at $20.3 million. So yes, I think this is already my first big miss in my summer predictions. And honestly, I got in my own way. I thought this one was going to land outside of the top 10, and then I talked myself into it. While I'm recording the video, I mentioned how I don't really believe in this movie, and then I end up going in all in on it anyway, landing at 9th in my prediction for what the top summer movies will be. An opening of over $20 million is always a good and welcome thing, but it certainly is not where you want to be if you're trying to become one of the top 10 highest grossing films of the summer. It's a family film, so we'll stick around a bit. Next weekend, we're going to take a look at the coming weekend, but there's not a lot of big new competition next weekend, so it might have a nice hold, but it's not going to hit the numbers needed to be a top 10 film. I think it would be tough for it to reach $100 million now. Looking at the previous Karate Kid movie, which of course had Will Smith in it and Jaden Smith, and it was a big movie because it was a different type of movie with some really big names in it. So yeah, naturally that movie's going to do better than this one. I got in my own way. Also, I was thinking that the success of Cobra Kai is going to have some carryover effect here. As soon as I finished that video last week, I thought about well, no, why would it? People like that series because of the kids in it, the younger cast. That cast is not in this film, so no, they're going to stay away. Again, I think this might have some good legs, and it will be a profitable one for Sony overall, but it's not going to be the 9th highest grossing film of the summer. Also, if you looked at the previous video, I was higher on Thunderbolts, and I kind of talked myself down on that. I wish if I had stuck with my original thought, I still would have thought that it was going to end outside the top 10. It would have been around number 13. I still took some other swings on films that I thought will do better than it. We'll see how that plays out, like Materialists and 40 Acres. Those are not slam dunk movies. And right now, when we're looking at the success of Thunderbolts, 181 million over these 5 weekends. It opened somewhat quietly, but its holds have been pretty strong week to week. It's going to have a lot of competition soon, but you can seriously see it ending with over $200 million in total gross domestic. And I do not think movies like Materialists and probably not 40 Acres, they probably won't do that. So that's another miss right off the bat here. I want to mention, I didn't talk about Bring Her Back at all from A24. Had a pretty soft opening, but these are the people that did Talk to Me, which was the scariest movie I've seen since the original Conjuring movie, which I saw in theaters back 10 years ago or more at this point. Definitely more than 10 years ago. I'm excited about Bring Her Back. It's not, as you see, it's not going to end up being a really high grossing film, but I do want to check it out. the people behind Talk to Me, and it's from A24. Those are two big positives in my book. Taking a quick look ahead at next weekend, for me, it's going to be a big one because one of my bigger swings was on the movie Ballerina, which I picked to be the number 7 highest grossing film of the summer. That comes out this coming week. I don't know if it was called this before, but I didn't see it listed this way, but From the World of John Wick, Ballerina. And it's funny because I was looking at it and I was trying to come up with comps. I mean, I saw it's a gritty action film, and Keanu Reeves has a part in it. I should look at John Wick movies to see how it might factor in. Oh, it is actually from the world of John Wick, which I didn't know. If you see my previous video, I didn't know that at the time. This is kind of a spin-off. It's a pirouette off from John Wick. We'll see if this movie ends up connecting with an audience. I'm obviously rooting for it to be my number 7 film of the summer. Also, I just love Wes Anderson movies, and the Phoenician Scheme looks like a return to form for him. His last handful of movies have been so-so. This one looks really good. I still don't think it's going to be a big hit. Obviously, in limited release, it did tremendous. I mean, $95,000 per screen on a very limited run of 3 different theaters, or I think it was 6 different theaters were showing it. I think this could become Wes Anderson's highest grossing film ever, but it's still not going to be a $100 million type of movie. He has a much different type of audience. It's an exciting one, though. Also, just looking at this, we have a more of an art house drama comedy with the Phoenician Scheme, and we have The Ritual, which is an intriguing one to me. As you see, XYZ Films, it's not a big name distributor, but we have Al Pacino in this. So a exorcism horror movie with Al Pacino, that sounds interesting to me. I don't know what kind of an impact that will have on the horror movies that are currently out, including things like Final Destination and Sinners, and of course, Bring Her Back. But yeah, we'll see how that plays. But overall, it's not a big weekend when it comes to some of these summer blockbuster weekends. It's not actually a really, really big weekend. So the things that are in theaters right now could have pretty strong holds one week to the next. Ballerina might be some direct competition for other action films like Mission Impossible, but it does kind of feel like its own thing. So I'm sure Lilo and Stitch will continue to hold well. Again, I'm hoping against hope that Karate Kid surprises and lingers for a while. It might have a really nice hold from one week to the next. I still don't think it's going to end up in the top 10. A big question is, will Final Destination end up as one of the top 10 movies of the summer? Probably not, but it might end up in the top 15, which is pretty amazing because I did a top 20 list and I did not have it in the top 20. So Final Destination is over exceeding expectations. And what is that going to mean for all of these other great horror movies that we have on the horizon? We have 28 Years Later. We have I Know What You Did Last Summer. We have Weapons, and of course, Megan 2.0. And Megan is the one that I predicted would be the top grossing horror film of this summer. Will that come to be, or is Final Destination going to run away with it? All right, that's it for this interruption. Now let's go back to our previously recorded signing off. Thank you all for watching. Let me know what you're working on, what projects you're working on, what you're excited about. And I will see you soon with more talk about creativity, inspiration, and yes, even the occasional box office news. Thanks for watching.